Hello everybody, Savat the Mighty here, and I'm back with another Eve Echoes video. In today's video, I'm still on the Fulmination test server, and we are still going to be doing ship requests, and this ship request is the Armageddon. Before we get started, if you would, leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I do release new content. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right in. So the Armageddon is an Amar ship, it's a battleship, it's going to be Tech 9. This ship gets an advanced electronic warfare bonus per level of 10% energy Nosferatu optimal range and 10% energy neutralizer optimal range. Also, for the battleship command bonus, it gets plus 40% drone DPS per level, plus 5% drone effective hit point, and 6 km drone control range for every level that you have in that. Overall defense is at 73,091. A flight velocity of 133, warp speed is 3, power grid output of 8,573, capacitor is at 7,430, and the cargo hold capacity is 1,200. Mainly this is an armor tank, with armor resistances displayed here at 50%, 35%, 25%, and 20, and that is EM, thermal, kinetic, and explosive, effectively. So this ship was kind of interesting. I was taking a look at it and thinking about different fits and trying to see what I could put together, and one of the first things that came up to me whenever I was looking at this is this ship gets absolutely no laser bonuses. So nothing. Doesn't even get any energy reduction for firing lasers, damage, range, anything like that. So the first thing that came to mind was you can do a long-range fit, kind of like I did on the Dominix, where you put the large cannons on here, and you use your 4 drones, and you sit out at super long ranges, and you fire away, and you're happy as can be. It's not going to do quite as much damage as the Dominix does, because it just doesn't have that extra drone. So I figured we should try to lean into what the bonuses are for the ship, for PvE purposes. And so that means using those Nosferatus and finding something to do with that energy. Now, this ship isn't quite as cap stable as something like the Balgorn would be, but it is kind of like a baby Balgorn when it comes to the purposes of tanking. It can fit a decent sized tank on here, and it can be cap stable with that tank. So it does have a few different options in the way that you would like to actually tank this ship. It's kind of you're looking at damage versus tank type thing. So if you are running T10s, you want to try to optimize your tank and be able to brawl. This ship should be able to brawl in T10s, just like the Balgorn does, except it's going to do it a lot slower. So you want to make sure that tank is way more effective whenever you're doing that. Okay. So I decided in the top slots for this one to actually go with the large rapid missile launchers, and I have 4 of the Pitts C-type large rapid missiles. We're going to be pretty up close, and these are going to allow us to apply damage to the smaller ships as well as the larger ships, and kind of even that out. So they're going to be kind of a saving grace. They're going to let us slow down ships and just be able to apply damage evenly. Even though it's not going to be high damage or fast damage, it's just going to be an even steady damage over everything. Why this ship is slowly tanking everything and destroying everything on the map. In the mid slots, I have 2 Vicarlocus large energy Nosferatus. With 2 of these on here, you can get nearly cap stable with this fit. You can make this cap stable, and I will show you about that when we talk about the rigs. I also am using a Haley target painter and 1 Predator Stasis Webifier. Now, in the mid slots, it's mainly you have the Webifier to slow down targets, the target painter to blow them up, and blow their signature radius up, that is, and let your missiles apply more damage more evenly, and let your large drones apply damage more evenly. You might want to replace something with a warp scram, maybe, to slow down some of the faster ships. But that would take some more experimentation to see what would actually be best in your situations. Okay, for the drones, I am just using Mark 9 Ogres. I have a full array of those in here. In the low slots, we have a Corpus C-type large armor repairer. We have a second Corpus C-type large armor repairer. I have 2 Corpus C-type adaptive armor hardeners, and I'm actually using a core C-type large afterburner. Another thing to mention on this ship again is this drone DPS that it gives is drone DPS. It's not large drones, so you can have a array of other drones in your actual drone bay here, and you can switch out to those if you need. So if you are running into some dangerous ships and want to have some mediums in there or some lights to take those out, feel free to do so. That will work in this ship. It's also a good thing to have too if you're doing a range fit. You can put those sentries in there and be sitting back, and when you're sitting back like that, if something does get under your sentry guns, you can pull those back in, throw out some mediums, and take care of whatever is giving you issues, or smalls if you want. I did not put any in for this fit here. They might be useful though, so that is something to consider. It does have the ability to do that, and you can lean into those and switch out your drones in the middle of combat and take advantage of having the DPS on all drone types in this ship as well. Okay, and the rigs, I have 2 Warp Core Optimizer 3s. This is again for one of those issues if you just want to get out and you got a scram on you, you can have 1 point on you really, or multiple disruptor points, and still be able to get away. So if you are doing T10s and stuff, get locked down, find yourself not in a situation you want to be in, then these are going to save your life. Hopefully you'll be able to take out a lot of the ships that are applying scrams and points on you, and once you get them cleared up enough, you should be able to warp out, and it should be able to tank long enough to do that at least. Now, when I was saying about the rigs, if you do want to make this cap stable, you can replace one of these with another capacitor control circuit, or I'm sorry, a semiconductor memory cell, I apologize. And that will make it cap stable. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do when it comes to these. If you're comfortable doing the missions, no, you don't need to warp out, and you're feeling very strong in that aspect, then you don't need to have the warp core stabilizers at all. If you feel safe, then you can just make this thing cap stable. You can go AFK and tank to your life's content. Over here, I decided to go with the Bay Loading Accelerator 3 to give more missile DPS. This ship has 576.58 drone DPS and 441.25 missile DPS with this fit. I wanted to increase the missile DPS because I wanted to try to see if I could get it nearly to the 50-50. So you're having the drones applying a lot of damage, but you are having the missiles do a pretty good chunk as well. Those missiles you don't really want to sleep on. They are a big chunk of this ship's damage. Where if you're doing more of the drone fit, you're still not going to get very much more drone DPS out of it if you're doing the long range, because in order to hit that 100 km, as you can see here, the drone control range on this ship is 65 km out of the box. You would need to have 2 of the drone control range rigs in there, and that would give you 30 more, putting you up to 95 km. So not even hitting that 100 with 2 of those in there. Still, 95 is pretty good, but that's where you're sitting at. You're going to have 1 drone damage type, which would increase the damage a little bit there, which may be more effective for your playstyle. I kind of wanted to mention that. I leaned more into the missiles on this one. And the reason why I decided to go with missiles is because of this capacitor. It's able to become stable in this fit, just as I explained there, or sitting at 42 minutes here. And that's important when you're trying to do tanking in long encounters. So if you're doing those T10s, you can pretty much tank successfully. Now the next things here, I have the rigs. I have basically the armor rigs, an anti-kinetic pump 3, and I have an anti-explosive pump 3. Now I'm in Galente space, so this really isn't helping me out much here, but I kind of wanted to show what the armor would be on this ship with those equipped. If you're going for a more all-around type fit, I want to be able to do everything and I don't want to change them out all the time, that's probably what you would go to. However, I would recommend finding something that you want to run. For example, Friends by Blood by the Amar. The ship would have pretty good if you did the EM and thermal resistances again, which we did in the Balgorn. Or if you're fighting Galente ships, then you're going to do the thermal and kinetic. You find basically the 2 main ones that you're going to be fighting with, and you would focus on those if you're going to go for the tanky route. Alright. So let's talk about the details of this ship while we're in here. With maximum skills, your power grid's going to be at 12,859 to swap things around with. We talked about the offense a little bit already. You have 441.25 DPS from the missiles and 576.58 DPS from the drones, for a total of 1,017.83 DPS. Not some of the most damaging ships that I've seen, but very effective with the tank. Capacitor is sitting at 42 minutes here. It is technically at minus 3.3% capacitor recharge rate. The capacitor capacity is 12,817 with a recharge time of 864 seconds. For the defense, it has a total of 117,768 effective hit points. 23,630 of that is in the shields. The 33,862 is in the armor, and 28,030 is in the structure. Okay. For targeting, it has 26 points. Scan resolution is 153. Signature radius of 296, and it can lock a maximum of 7 targets. Under navigation, it's going at 192.85 with a warp preparation time of 13.37 seconds. This thing is very slow to warp, but its warp speed is 3 AU, so once it does get to warp, it warps a little bit faster than some other battleships. And warp stability on this particular version, because of the rigs, is -6. Okay. So that takes care of all of that. I think we went over everything. We talked about the power grid. So let's go ahead and pick up a mission and kind of showcase what this ship does. Alright. Hit refresh, see if we can get one right here in the system. Nope, but we do have one that's one jump away. Let's go get it. So we can talk about a few things while we're actually going to be jumping over there. That is, we could take a look at the defense here with the shield hardeners on before we get into combat. So if we turn both of those on, and we can now go look at our defense. We have a total of 148,039 effective hit points, with an EM resistance of 68, thermal 59, kinetic 72, and explosive 70.
Drive active.
Not bad. Again, capacitor lasts 42 minutes in this ship. And if you do change out one of the rigs to another semiconductor memory cell, it will go to cap stable. And that is cap stable with the Nosferatus on. So these large Nosferatus, they do actually have, hold on a second, quite a bit of range. 36 km optimal range with an accuracy fall off of 21. So you can get pretty far out with those and still be draining energy. So this thing remaining cap stable should be fairly easy to do. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the mission. Nope, that's a station. There we go. And we'll warp pretty much 10 km in. We want to be right on top of all the action.
Warp drive active.
So we're going to play around in this combat here a little bit, and we're just going to take a look at how some of this stuff interacts. Okay. We're going to go ahead and lock up everything. We're not going to move. Stop everything from firing. Alright, so we have 2 of these small ships here. I'm going to hit one with the target painter. And I want to stick the drones on it. we're going to shoot the other one with the missiles. And we're just kind of doing a comparison here. So the large drones are hitting it. They're doing quite well. The missiles, on the other hand, the missiles are taking quite a bit of time actually killing this second one over here. So they're not applying the damage well, but we also don't have the target painter on that small ship. But they're still able to hit it and apply that damage. Okay. Now the Myrmidon over there is now going to be getting hit by everything. This ship only does 1,000 DPS. Look at that guy. He's just chilling over here next to us. Get in there. Go kill, guys. Come on, drones. What are you up to? Why are you sitting back here? Go do stuff. Okay. Try it this way. You guys want to go in now? Thank you. So if you actually get your drones to attack, then they do pretty decent damage. Alright, we're starting to take some damage here. I'm going to go ahead and activate one of the armor reppers. What we're doing is we're actually kind of trying to test the tank out on this ship too as well. And see just what it can withstand. How much mistakes can it take? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and stop this guy here too, and we're gonna just take a look and see if he does melt any quicker with the large drones and the missiles on him while he is webbed. Yeah, that guy melted. Okay. Let's activate the other armor repairer. Keep these guys going. So the battleships does seem like it still is going to take a little while. 1,000 DPS, I mean, it's 1,000 DPS. It's just going to take some time. Which is what I mean by the tank better be pretty effective if you're going to take some time killing those ships. Valgorn was able to do it because it had a pretty sick tank, and it was able to apply a ton of DPS as well. I mean, this ship's definitely not doing bad on the DPS front. We have basically restabilized now from being low. Whenever the new wave spawns, we should be right in the thick of things, so we can really see what's going to happen there. Oh, Hyperion. Okay, let's stop. This is fine. Just gonna sit out here right in front of the Hyperion. Trade shots with them. Yeah, one of the reasons why I decided to actually do the missiles on this ship instead of lasers is because whenever you put the lasers on, because of the power grid draw that they have, it makes this ship very not cap-stable. Like, it doesn't last hardly at all. 7 minutes, I think, was the total I had on it with the lasers on there. So I don't know if lasers are exactly the answer if you want to make this ship tanky. Okay. Start locking up everything. And activate both of those. We're going to focus fire on this guy. And we're going to sit here and see exactly what happens. Alright, we're chilling. We're letting all of these tier 10 ships just shoot us. We got him slowed down. Okay, next. Where's this guy at? He's over there. We can web him down too, and that should be the end of his life. Okay. So if I had my my shield, or I'm sorry, my armor rigs in that were directed straight towards these guys' damage, we would be taking a lot less damage. If we were just specialized in the, well, I wouldn't say a lot less. We do have one of the kinetics in, so it would be the thermal, but we would be taking less damage than what we are now. Again, this ship's resistances are very, very good for fighting Amar, and if you put the missile systems in there as well, that makes it even better for fighting Amar, because Amar is not going to be disrupting your turrets, and you're actually going to be doing way more damage to their armor tanks with your even damage split than if you were using lasers. So flying this ship in this type of fit, I would probably recommend fighting Amar over anything else. You would have an easier time of destroying them and have the best tank for them. But yeah, we can just sit here and leisurely take out everything. It is going to take time. It's not going to be the fastest in the world, unfortunately. There is no type of damage buffs on here, but it is definitely very safe. Okay. And we are down to the battleship. Where's this guy chilling at? Oh, he's over there. Excellent. Megatron Striker. Now the Striker is able to apply some pretty nice DPS to us. Why did my ship decide to turn around? Just about faced. Well, okay then, ship. You do what you want to do. It's kind of scary, actually. Ship has a mind of its own. It's like, I want to face this way now. So sitting still, taking full damage from large hybrids, blasters, railguns, snub-nose railguns, I guess is what they're called here. I want to be completely specific. That's probably going to be one of the biggest damages from just a normal ship that you can take. Sitting perfectly still, he's having no problem just pelting us with those. He actually is breaking the tank of one armor repper. Yeah. The thermal is low. Do I even have these things on? They're not on at all. I did not turn those on. Yeah, 68, 59, 72, 70. So with those on, it's going to be much, much better. Going to take a whole lot less damage. Oh my goodness. Can't believe we were running without those on the entire time. Well, I mean, that goes to show you if you're doing the news missions, you can probably put some damage mods in there and tank it just fine. 5972. Gonna be a whole lot less damage. Here we go. Lock up these little guys first. Okay. He is going to be our target. We are now warp scrammed. That's completely fine, because that's what we have those for. Now, I don't expect us having to warp out of this mission whatsoever. Okay. Next, we're going to go for the next closest one here. Lock him down and get to work. How is this going to work without the target painter on there? It's working. Okay. Slow that guy down and get rid of him. Alright, the little ships are cleared up. Our armor has been steadily going down. That's fine. We can activate the second armor repairer and we should be fine. Slowly removing damage off the table as well, but it's probably the Hyperion and the Megathron that are doing a core of this damage. So yeah, I could definitely see this ship, whenever it does go live, being able to pretty much roll in and base roll tier 8s, no problem. This may take some time. And actually be able to tank the tier 10s. Again, with the proper setup on the armor hardeners, pretty positive it could go in and you would be moving there and you would be picking and choosing your correct targets to take out. As long as you're choosing everything properly, I don't see why this ship wouldn't be able to brawl with the drones. And you always have that backup there where if you do get swarmed by a bunch of little ships, you can always swap out your large drones for medium or small drones to help you deal with the smaller targets if need be, which is pretty cool. I really like ships that have the ability and they just give raw drone damage instead of like medium drone or large drone. Even though we're just using the large drones here, we could have easily just, swapped those out for mediums or smalls and went after the smaller ships first and then changed them back out. That is just a real pain to switch all of your drones, and it wasn't really necessary. It's going to lower the There it goes, turning again. I didn't even press anything. Mind of its own. It's like I want to face this way. And so it's definitely not going to be the fastest killing ship out there, but it definitely is going to have something to say for its tank. We are using it in PvE, which is why we are using the energy Nosferatus and not the neutralizers. The neutralizers are also going to be very good in PvP. This ship would be able to reach out at a pretty far range and start neutralizing people. So it could be another dangerous ship to see on the battlefield, and because it doesn't get any type of weapon bonuses, that kind of leaves it open to be able to do a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, it could even have remote armor repairs on there, not have anything at all, and just sit back as a ship that's going to help your entire team. So it'll be sitting there helping repair people's armor or shields or whatnot. Maybe give some cap back, who knows? To just completely just have the drones out, and if they're sentry drones, it could be sitting back. I'm not sure exactly how far the range is on the remote armor reppers. I haven't looked into those enough. But it could drop those sentry drones off quite a good distance away, and just start blapping ships as they come in. Or it can sit up close and have large drones, or even if you have a bunch of smaller ships come in, it can have a bunch of light drones go over there and start messing with people. And so it can definitely be a great ship, and for PvP as well, and have a pretty decent tank on it. So what are you going to do? Pick the other targets or pick Tanky Boy? So it's pretty crazy. This ship can definitely bring a lot of versatility to the PvP battlefield as well, in my opinion. Especially as kind of a logistics ship. Definitely doesn't kill nearly as fast as a lot of the other ships that we've done. But it does got a decent tank on there. And one of my favorite things ever, pretty much a cap stable tank. I think even with just running the 2 armor repairers here, as long as you're not running the afterburner as well, it'll probably stay stable by itself without running the afterburner. So if you're just running the afterburner to kind of move around the battlefield and turn it off while you're having to really do that, the one thing that I would worry about in this ship is getting neutralized back. So that might be something to consider whenever you are doing Amar missions. Amars do like to neutralize you quite a bit. So I'd be real picky on my targets. And one of the things that I see here is if you do find an elite battleship in this, you're probably going to take the better part of forever to kill that elite battleship with this setup. It's not applying a ton of DPS very quickly. So that is going to be kind of interesting. I might take this one out for a spin as well. Versa T10, just for my own curiosity. See how that pans out. It is going to take quite a while to do those T10s, but, you know, for science sometimes. Just kind of want to see how it compares to its counterpart. So yeah, this is pretty much all but over, but again, as you can see, it does take quite some time to actually finish story or a news mission with this ship, comparatively to the others. But again, we could have probably gotten away without using either one of those and put some damage on here for the purposes of the news mission, and we would have been just fine and able to apply that little bit of DPS more and clear out the news mission itself faster. So what do I think of this ship? Same thing I think of any ship that gives you the ability to actually do some type of long-range fit and brawl. I think it's amazing. I don't think you're going to see the damage numbers on here that you're going to see on something like the Dominex for just using straight up drones. but you're probably also not going to see a Dominex going in there and brawling or having the ability to do that at all. This ship can also sit back and do a long range fit as well. The long range fit isn't going to be as far as the Dominex, but it can do that, and you can swap up your high slots with cannons or the long range missiles and whatnot, and you sit out at 95, I believe, is where you're going to be at. You can't get over that if you put all three drone control ranges in there. That would give you 95, 110. So you're still not going to have the damage from sitting out at 110, but it would have the option to sit out there at that 110. Now, you could put the cannons on there at that time. You're not going to need to have the armor reppers if that's the case. So you could just go with one of those type of fits and sit out there and do that. The only reason why I didn't really showcase this ship doing something like that is because it's going to be just the same in the Dominex, just the Dominex is going to do it just that little bit better. So ultimately, if you are going to be doing a long range fit with drones as your primary damage source, I would say go with the Dominex. If you do want to do a close range tanky brawler fit, I would say this ship is probably going to be right for you. It's definitely going to have a thick boy tank, and it's going to be able to take on some of the harder content if you like that up close and personal style. So that's my theory with this ship. Let me know what you guys think. You can let me know in the comments below if you would do something different with it. Again, I'd be interested to hear about it. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. It's at Savat the Mighty, or you can join us on the Discord. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. I will see you next time.